Hello developers, welcome back to the channel. Next in the Vue.js series, we're gonna learn about custom input component. Let's say here we have input type text and v model title, and here we have data return title. This is very basic. You all know about this v-model that provides two-way data binding. Here in the Vue tab you can see as we type in here, it automatically updated right here. Behind the scene, it is doing two things. One, it is binding this input field with the title and listening for the input event and changing its value. So we can also do something like this. Input type text and bind value with title on input change title is equal to $event dot target dot value. In the browser it works exactly the same. As we type here, it changes the title data automatically. This v-model is equivalent to this bind value and then change its value on input. In your own project, you may want to wrap a form input within a custom component. This way you can have a single place to attach all custom validations, ajax and other behaviors. However, in this process, you will also find that in the custom component, v-model directive no longer works the way it usually does. So in this lesson, we're gonna learn how we can implement v-model directive on any custom component. So let's say we are creating a custom editor component. Here we want to implement this v-model here. So here we'll say v-model is equal to content. Now how are we gonna implement this? So first let's create this editor component. Editor.view. Here we create an input type text. Here we have script. Let's import this here. Components editor. Here we register that component. Next, what we're gonna do here? Next, here we're gonna bind value with value, and here it will accept props value. Next, on input update value $event dot target dot value. Next we're gonna create this method, methods. It will accept value, and here we emit this dot $emit input value. This is all here, and we forget to register this content here in the data property. Initially it is empty. Now let's see this in browser. Now take a look at this. We have app and content is empty. Now as we change, you will see it is automatically changing here, and in the editor also we have value this. Now we have implemented this v-model directive on this custom editor component, where we are accepting this value prop. On change its input value, we emit the input event with its new value. Now here in this component, we have only one input field. Now let's consider another situation where you have a component with more than one inputs. So in that case, how we gonna implement v-model for that. For example, let's say we have a date picker component. So here we'll create date picker.view. Here we have a template script. Now inside this template we have div tag, and here we create input type text placeholder day, month, and year. Now in the app component we're gonna import date picker, and let's register that here. Let's comment this. Now here we'll say date picker. Now let's see this in browser, refresh. Now we have 3 input fields in this date picker component, and for that component we want to implement v-model date. Let's add this date in the data property. Initially it is null. Now how are we gonna implement this for this component? Because here we have added v-model, so this component gonna accept prop value. So he'll say props value. Now in this case we are gonna consider this value as a object. So here I'll bind value dot day, and here bind value dot month, and value dot here. Next, on input we will execute update date. We will execute this update date method for every input field. Next, let's create this method. Our next step is to emit the input event. For that, he will say this dot $emit input. Now here we're gonna emit a object where we have a day, month, and year. Next we're gonna fetch the value of this input and stored in this day property. For that, let's say here we have a attribute ref day picker, and this input field has property month picker, and it has year picker. Next here we'll say day is equal to this dot $refs dot this day picker dot value. Same thing here. Here would be month picker, and here year picker. Now let's see this in browser. Refresh. It is not working. Let's see this in the console. Type error can now read property day of value null. Here the issue is that we are trying to bind value dot day and value month and year, but here we pass this date where it is null. So to fix this, here we'll say day null, month is equal to null, and year is equal to null. Now let's see this in browser. Refresh. Now it is fixed and working. Now let's focus this date object. As we change the day, it is automatically updated here, month and year. Now here I'm going to print h1 date dot day slash date dot month and slash date dot year. Here you see. Now you can see it is working. We have bind this v model to this date picker component where we have 3 input fields. Now what if you do not want this date as a object? Instead you want date like day, month and year. But here you need 3 input fields. So what you gonna do in that case? Because this time this value is not object, so here this will not work. And here we cannot emit object. So how we gonna implement this? For that, here we'll create computed property. So here what we will do, we will split this date value which is stored in this value prop into 3 parts: day, month, year, and we'll store that respectively in these input fields. So for that, let's create a computed property split date. So here is split value is equal to this dot value dot split by slash. This slash is the separator, this one. Next it is array, so here we'll say return object day is equal to split value at 0 index, month is at 1 index, and year is equal to split value index 2. Now we will replace this value with split date dot day, split date dot month, and split date dot year. Let's format this. So now what we are doing here, we have created this split date computer property and we split the value which has this date, year, day, month, year by this slash, and we returned the object day, month, year. And in this input field we stored split date dot day, split date dot month, and split date dot year. And then our final step is to emit a string. So instead of this object, here we'll return a string. So here we'll say use the template literals and dollar curly brackets this dot dollar refs dot day picker dot value. Next slash the separator and dollar curly brackets this dot dollar refs dot month picker dot value, and separator slash dollar curly brackets this dot dollar refs dot year picker dot value. This is all done. Next, in the app.component, let's remove all here and we just print date. Now refresh. Immediately you can see as I change here, it immediately reflecting here. Now we have learned how we can implement vModel directive to the custom component. This is all in this tutorial. If you like the video, hit the like button, share this video, and don't forget to subscribe us. See you in the next video.